This may be a longer one, but bear with me, especially if you live in the state of Florida, because it's important. I could probably do a whole series on bad bills being put forth in legislation in Florida, but the one I'm going to talk about today, on the surface, seems like a good one and isn't. So there is a real problem in the state of Florida. It's almost impossible to get homeowners insurance. Most of the companies have pulled out. Those that remain charge astronomical fees. This is because of excessive claims being filed, mainly due to predatory roofing companies and attorneys. So first perspective, 9% of homeowners insurance policies in the U.S. are in Florida, yet 79% of the lawsuits against homeowners insurance companies came from Florida last year. I have family that works in insurance. A couple months back, in 1 week's time, they had more than 300 insurance claims come in from a single neighborhood, all for roofs. And why? Because a roofing company went door to door knocking and said, there was a hailstorm a couple months back. Can I look at your roof? Oh yeah, there's damage here. You know what? Your insurance is going to buy you a whole new roof. Don't you even worry about it. I'm going to take care of the whole thing for you. That is a real problem that needs to be addressed. And Ron DeSantis came in to save the day with tort reform that the press is just eating up. He is saving the day with his tort reform bills. And not surprisingly, insurance companies love it too. On the surface, this all seems great. The problem is, politicians going to politic. And one of their biggest gimmicks is to take a bill that people support and slide things in there that people don't really expect or understand to get that passed. And in this case, it's applying restrictions to personal injury and what people can collect. So it wants to build upon legislation that passed back in December that applied to property insurance. We're just going to take what we did in December and we're going to apply it to all insurance issues, all litigation in Florida. And the CEO of the Personal Insurance Federation called it monumental, saying it will create a fairer system and protect consumers by driving out abusive litigation. Oh yeah, Michael, is that what it's going to do? Protect consumers? What it actually does is cap medical expenses at 140% of the Medicaid rate. We're not going to let a jury decide the value of your medical bills. We, the government, will tell you the value of your medical bills. So example, you have a spinal injury, you need a back fusion. That runs you about 40, 50 grand. The Medicaid cap is $2,000. That won't cover anesthesia. So if this passes, and it has the votes to do so, here's what happens pretty much instantly. Personal injury attorneys in the state of Florida lay off 75% of their staff. And I know you probably don't care about that. But you, if you're a Florida resident and you have car insurance, no longer pays for your injuries. It doesn't. You are legally required to carry the insurance, but if you get injured, it's not going to pay for it, and there's no route for you to pursue the money that you should have for those injuries. Doctors will look and say, for your injuries, Medicaid does not cover my expenses. I'm not doing the work. And if it passes, it's retroactive. So people who've been in litigation with their insurance companies for years now, those cases get tossed out. So the big winner in all of this is the insurance companies. They would never again have to pay out a big medical claim in the state of Florida. And I feel DeSantis is behind this because it's doing a kill two birds with one stone kind of situation. Attorneys in general tend to support politicians. In the state of Florida, most of the bigger attorneys donate to Democrats. So if you take away a big revenue source, that hurts your opponents. But more importantly, insurance companies also like to give money to candidates, typically to Republican candidates. And when you're a guy who's about to run for president and you go, hey, insurance companies, look what I did for you in Florida. How would you like me to do that for the entire nation? Imagine a world where insurance companies only ever had to pay pennies on the dollar for medical expenses due to personal injury in the entire United States going forward. What value would that have to them? What would they do, and what kind of money would they spend on someone who they believe can give that to them? Everyone in the entire United States should be terrified by this.